Hey, Minerva and Brian. So, you're heading to Chichen Itza.
Lucky you.
We're going to take a deep dive into this incredible Mayan city.
So you can get the most out of your trip.
It's one of the new seven wonders of the world.
Yeah, it's not just any historical site.
Exactly.
Chichen Itza has a history spanning over 1,000 years.
Wow.
Think about it. Different peoples, cultures, all leaving their mark.
All in this one spot.
On this one location.
Like a living tapestry.
Yeah, like a living tapestry of history.
We've been prepping using articles from WikiTravel and Wikipedia.
Oh, nice.
Good choices. I am getting wanderlust myself just reading about it.
Good thing we're doing this for you two, then.
That's right.
Now, before you get overwhelmed by how big this place is,
It's huge.
it is the largest Mayan archaeological city in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Wow.
Let's break down what you need to know.
Okay, let's go.
First things first, practicality. You'll be in Yucatan, Mexico, and Chichen Itza is popular.
I bet.
It's actually Mexico's most visited archaeological site.
Right.
What's that?
So expect some crowds.
Oh, I was going to say crowded.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Getting there early in the morning is a good strategy.
Yeah, beat the crowds in the heat.
Beat the crowds in the heat, exactly.
Our sources mentioned there's an entrance fee
Oh, yeah.
of 533 pesos.
But hey, you're experiencing a wonder of the world.
Yeah, totally worth it.
To understand why, let's take a quick trip back in time.
Okay.
Chichen Itza was founded around 250 AD,
Right.
and it became a powerful political center by the late Classic period.
So we've got a thriving Mayan city.
I do.
What happens next?
Well, fast forward to around 987 AD,
Okay.
a new power enters the scene. The Toltecs,
Oh.
led by their ruler, Kukulkan.
Oh, that name sounds familiar.
You might know him by another name, Quetzalcoatl,
Right?
depending on which Mesoamerican culture we're talking about.
Yeah, I keep seeing that name Kukulkan
Right?
everywhere in relation to Chichen Itza.
Well, that's because the Toltecs, led by Kukulkan, conquered Chichen Itza,
Wow.
and their influence significantly shaped the city.
Oh, this is getting good.
This is where it gets fascinating. The city's architecture and religion transform,
So they're blended now.
blending Mayan and Toltec styles.
Minerva and Brian, you're not just going to be walking through ruins.
Right.
You're going to be walking through a fusion of cultures.
Exactly. Take El Castillo, for example,
Okay.
also known as the Pyramid of Kukulkan.
I've heard of that.
This 79-foot-tall pyramid dedicated to the feathered serpent god.
Dedicated to the feathered serpent god.
It's the most iconic structure at Chichen Itza.
It really embodies this cultural blend we're talking about.
Yes, it does.
It has 365 steps, one for each day of the year.
Right, that's right. The Mayans were incredible astronomers,
They really were.
and their understanding of time and the cosmos is woven into this pyramid.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I also read about a serpent descending the pyramid
Oh, yeah.
on the equinoxes.
You're talking about the phenomenon where the setting sun casts shadows
Yeah,
that create the illusion of a serpent slithering down the steps.
that's amazing.
While it's a popular idea,
Yeah.
some experts debate whether the Mayans intentionally designed it
Really?
or if it's a beautiful coincidence.
That's so interesting.
Either way, pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's like the pyramid itself is part of the story.
It is.
And there's more to El Castillo than meets the eye, right?
Yes.
What was that recent discovery about a cenote?
Ah, yes. Researchers found a hidden cenote,
Cenote, remind me.
a natural sinkhole,
Okay.
directly beneath El Castillo.
Wow.
This discovery has huge implications
I got it.
for our understanding of the site's religious practices.
For sure.
It seems there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered at Chichen Itza,
Even after all these years.
even after all these years.
Amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of hidden depths, let's move on to the Great Ball Court.
Oh, yes. This one really captured my imagination when I was reading about it.
Yeah,
It's not just any ball court, is it?
definitely not.
What's so special about it?
We're talking about the largest ball court in all of Mesoamerica.
Wow, the largest.
Imagine the energy of the crowds, the intensity of the games.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And the stakes, the carvings on the walls
Yeah.
depict human sacrifices, right?
They do.
So it wasn't just a friendly competition.
No, those carvings are a stark reminder of the role ritual and sacrifice played in Mayan society.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fascinating how they incorporated these beliefs into their architecture.
Right, like it's a physical manifestation of their worldview.
Exactly.
It makes you think about the purpose of these structures.
It does.
They weren't just functional spaces. They were imbued with meaning.
Exactly. Each structure tells a story.
They do.
For example, let's talk about El Caracal,
Okay.
also known as the observatory.
Ah, yes. This one really stood out to me too.
Yeah.
That unique circular building
Yes.
with the spiral staircase.
You got it. That spiral staircase resembling a snail's shell.
It's so
It
unique.
gives the structure its name, El Caracol.
Oh, that's where it comes from. The
Yeah.
snail.
The Mayans used this building for astronomical observations.
Wow.
They were meticulous in their study of the stars and the cycles of time.
So Minerva and Brian,
Yeah.
when you stand in El Caracol,
Yeah,
you're standing in a place where the Mayans once mapped out the cosmos.
you are.
That's a pretty powerful connection.
Speaking of powerful connections, we can't forget the sacred cenote.
Right. I was just reading about that one.
Yeah.
This natural well was much more than just a source of water.
It was.
For a long time, it was believed that mainly young women were sacrificed there.
Right.
But recent research has revealed a different story, hasn't it?
It has.
What's the new evidence telling us?
The majority of the remains found in the sacred cenote
Yeah.
actually belong to children, many dressed as gods.
Oh, wow.
This suggests a link to the Mayan creation myth
Oh, interesting.
and points to a much more complex understanding of the cenote's role in their rituals.
It's a good reminder that our understanding of the past is constantly evolving
It is.
as new discoveries are made.
Exactly.
And that's part of what makes exploring these sites so exciting.
Absolutely. Speaking of exciting discoveries,
Yes.
there's another structure I think you'll find intriguing, Minerva and Brian, the Temple of the Warriors.
I read about this one.
Yeah,
It's known for its intricate carvings and the presence of chalk and pool sculptures, right?
exactly.
Tell me more about the sculptures.
Those reclining figures holding bowls are typically found in Toltec sites.
Okay.
Their presence here at the Temple of the Warriors
Yeah.
underscores that blend of Mayan and Toltec influences we've been discussing.
It's like a puzzle, piecing together the different cultural elements to get a sense of the city's history.
It is.
And speaking of puzzles, our sources mentioned a few other notable structures that we haven't touched on yet.
Yes, there's the group of 1,000 columns, a vast complex that hints at the scale and grandeur of Chichen Itza.
1,000 columns.
There's also the osario, also known as the high priest's grave,
Okay.
which shares some architectural similarities with El Castillo,
Interesting.
but on a smaller scale. And then there's the nunnery complex, a beautifully preserved structure with intricate details.
So many incredible places to explore. And I know you two are eager to start planning your itinerary.
I bet.
I found some helpful information in our sources about getting to and around the site.
Oh, great.
Chichen Itza is conveniently located between Mérida and Cancun.
Yes, making it easily accessible for travelers.
Do you have any insights on travel times and costs? I'm sure that would be helpful for Minerva and Brian.
Sure. From Cancun, the ADO bus service will cost around 202 pesos and takes about 3 hours.
Okay.
If you're on a tighter budget, you can opt for a cheaper bus for 122 pesos.
Even better.
But it'll take about an hour longer.
Okay, so you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
What about coming from Mérida?
If you're coming from Mérida, the ADO buses are a bit cheaper, between 130 and 150 pesos.
Okay.
And the trip is shorter, about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes.
Great. And I know a lot of people like to visit multiple sites in the area.
Yeah.
Is there any information about luggage storage at Chichen Itza?
You're in luck. They offer free luggage storage near the restrooms,
Okay.
just past the cashier area.
That's convenient.
So if you're traveling light, you can leave your bags there while you explore the ruins.
That's good to know. Now, if Minerva and Brian decide to rent a car,
Yeah.
are there any details on costs or things to be aware of?
If you're renting in Mérida, expect to pay between 800 and 2,000 pesos for a small car for the day.
Okay.
Don't forget to factor in toll road fees, which are about 92 pesos each way,
Right.
and the 80 peso parking fee at Chichen Itza.
Got it.
And of course, gas.
It sounds like having pesos on hand is essential.
It's always a good idea to have cash, especially in Mexico.
Good to know.
You never know when you might need it, and exchanging money at the site can be tricky,
Especially on weekends, I bet.
particularly on weekends. Yeah.
Okay, that's good advice. Aside from money and transportation, any other tips you'd recommend?
Well, you'll be doing a lot of walking, so comfortable shoes are a must.
Good point.
And don't forget the essentials: water, sunscreen, and a hat.
It's going to be hot. The Yucatan sun can be intense, and there's not much shade at the site.
Right.
I'd also recommend packing a pair of binoculars if you have them.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
The stargazing and birdwatching in the area are supposed to be incredible.
Imagine that. Minerva and Brian,
Yeah.
standing among those ancient ruins,
Yeah.
gazing at the same stars the Mayans used to chart their calendars.
It gives you a sense of connection to the past, doesn't it?
It really does.
And while you're taking in those incredible views, don't forget to savor the moment.
Yeah,
Chichen Itza is a place that invites contemplation and reflection.
that's beautiful.
Allow yourselves to be captivated by the stories these ruins have to tell.
Well said.
Thanks.
I think we've covered a lot of ground here. The history, the must-see structures, the practical tips.
Yeah, but there's still more to explore.
Ooh, like what?
In part 3, we'll delve deeper into the captivating world of Mayan culture
Okay.
and highlight some nearby attractions that can enrich your Chichen Itza experience. Welcome back, Minerva and Brian. We're wrapping up our Chichen Itza deep dive.
Ready for part 3.
We talked about those cenotes.
Yeah, those natural sinkholes.
So important to the Mayans.
They were.
And there's some stunning ones near Chichen Itza that you could visit.
There are.
I was reading about Cenote Iquiquil.
It's a popular one for a reason.
What makes it so special?
Imagine swimming in that cool, clear water surrounded by lush vegetation.
Sounds amazing.
It's like stepping into another world.
And it's not just a beautiful swimming spot, right? These cenotes were sacred to the Mayans.
They were seen as portals to the underworld, places of ritual and spiritual significance.
So when you take a dip in a cenote,
Yeah,
it's almost like connecting with the spiritual heart of Mayan culture.
it is.
Wow, that's pretty profound.
It is. And if you're interested in experiencing even more Mayan culture,
Yeah.
you could consider visiting the caves of Balancanche.
Oh, yes. I remember reading about those.
Yeah.
They're filled with ancient pottery and idols.
Exactly. It's like stepping back in time,
Wow.
seeing these artifacts in their original context.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I did see a note that they might have been closed for the past few years.
Oh, right.
So Minerva and Brian,
Yeah.
you'll want to double check if they've reopened before you go.
Good point.
Yeah.
Always best to be prepared.
Now, we've talked about swimming in sacred cenotes,
Yes.
exploring ancient caves.
Uh-huh.
What about those vendors we mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah. They're a big part of the experience.
They can be a bit insistent,
Yes.
but they're also local artisans sharing their crafts.
Right.
I'm all for supporting local artisans,
Yeah.
but I have heard that bargaining is expected.
It is.
Don't be afraid to haggle a bit, Minerva and Brian.
It's part of the fun.
Exactly. And those souvenirs are more than just trinkets.
They are.
They represent Mayan artistry and craftsmanship.
Exactly. Each piece has a story to tell.
I love that.
Me too.
But so as we wrap up this deep dive, any final words of wisdom for Minerva and Brian?
Remember to keep an eye out for those details that reveal the fusion of Mayan and Toltec cultures.
Like what kind of details?
The serpent motifs, the Chacmuel sculptures, the
Yeah.
different architectural styles.
Okay.
Let your curiosity guide you.
I like that.
Take the time to appreciate not just the grand structures,
Yeah?
but also the smaller details.
Oh, little things?
The carvings, the inscriptions, the way the city itself is laid out.
It's all about those aha moments, right? Those moments where you feel connection to the past.
Exactly. Chichen Itza is a testament to the ingenuity, creativity, and resilience of the Mayan people.
It really is.
Let their story inspire you.
Minerva and Brian,
Yeah,
we hope this deep dive has prepared you for an incredible journey.
I think it has.
Embrace the unexpected.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Yes.
And most importantly, have an amazing time.
Safe travels.
Yes, safe travels.
And may your trip be filled with wonder and awe.
And that concludes our deep dive into Chichen Itza.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic, ready to unpack, explore, and leave you with something to think about.
See you next time.
Until then, keep exploring.